Greetings. It is... what is it? Close to noon? It is close to noon. And it's time once again to dive into Torment Tides of Numenera, so we'll be doing that. Hello, for those of you just joining us, I'm Jim. And I've been playing this for a while, and we're going to jump back in now and see if we can get closer to the end. Applying effort on attacks is critical to success in crises, but be careful not to drain your pools too quickly. So, sadly I do not have massive amounts of time today, as there's some scheduling stuff that's been going on for Fridays that I have to kind of juggle just a bit. Is that a rift in space-time? Just kind of curious. That looks somewhat rift-like to me. Need to... Yoxu, you need to kind of look at that. You need to look at, make sure you're good. Are you good? Because, you know, it would be a shame if everything collapsed into a black hole right now. That would be really bad. Nice planet you have there.
I'd take a nap if that wasn't even more boring.
All right, fine. Quiet. Give me a second. Good lord. Ah. Hi. Hello. I'm now trying to remember what it is that I'm doing. All right. Does this game have controls? It does. Okay. Still got my... This is the thing. Normally I don't do this 2 days in a row, so my hands are still trying to go back to the positioning for City Skylines. So I can, if I wish at some point, pay this person for an upgrade, to upgrade my energy scalpel to probably, I'm guessing, an energy blade. And we will think on that, but we have not yet done the thing where we are going to try to do massive stuff with the in-world economy.
Yes, now.
Soon, perhaps. Just accumulating more and more things to sell. That is an interesting thing that it fulfills that function in this game. I should say that oddities fulfill that function, where you can just sort of sell them for many monies, and that's kind of the deal. 604 shins for an ancient spirit cube. My God! But anyway, was there more information here? Is that why it's lit up? No, we already know this. Try opening various maws and hope one of them leads to the trade post. Okay. That's great. And that's right, yes, it's that area in Little Neleash where we have choices of either not progressing or being a bastard. That's very interesting. But what are we doing? Tiber. I'm looking for a maw that leads to the anchorage. Finding missing patrols. We found one. We're looking for the other one. We've got... You gotta talk to that person who is in Little Neleash. We saw the person with the gate in them. And unfortunately it involves feeding someone to them, much as one does to the maws. Lost shepherd. Finding a doctor of some kind, I think in one of the scarier neighborhoods. Scary in terms of there being a question of survivability, but we'll see. Well, it'll be fine. There's a newborn maw. Delny might be able to sense what the Maul wants. Maybe. It's like, here, I just freed you from, your mind from captivity for however many years it's been going on. Now will you immediately please use it to endanger yourself? No? That's not good. This father and son team selling various things. So there's a shrine. Chiurgeon Slump. Odd slave block. I guess we'll hit the shrine first because it might be brief. I'm not sure. We'll find out.
Ready.
Hey, spirit of the former ruler of this place. Okay. Alright, enormous statue of a woman wielding a hammer is here. Okay.
Of course.
Let's go say hello. Missing something? You can press the enter key. I don't know what key that was. I don't understand these symbols people use. I am from an earlier time and do not have this information running natively through my veins. But let's see. These 3 jugs contain a slimy, viscous fluid. A tendril of bloom flesh squirms around in one of them. Here's a bloom cultist. Ah, yes. Words dance across the face of this scroll in a script so tiny you can't quite make it out. Only the title is legible. The Chronicles of Chiurgeon the Great, Volume 6. The Observant Speck. Cramped writing loops around this scroll in strange patterns and shapes. The only text you can clearly read is the title, The Chronicles of Chiurgeon the Great, Volume 2. Rumpled blankets and rags lie on the floor, exuding a sour, sweaty odor. This is probably where some of the cultists sleep. It's not clear if the items on this table are intended for food preparation or ritual display, or both. This shelf holds a number of odd offerings: a skull, a sealed jar, some candles, a metal cup, and the shriveled remains of a small hairless creature. Ragmin. Bloom cultist. Okay. Let's not look at that too closely. Okay. And then there's a thing we can interact with. We will do that in a moment. First, let us say hello to this bloom cultist. What are you, friend or foe to our god? The whispers aren't clear. That's because I'm a video game character and could do anything at any moment. Without rhyme or reason. Hello. In a shadowy corner of the shrine lurks an old woman so tiny and unremarkable that she... This is not a shadowy corner... Never mind. An old woman so tiny and unremarkable. This is very well lit. I'm just saying, for what we have here. Okay. In a corner of the shrine that may perhaps be considered shadowy compared to the center of the shrine lurks an old woman so tiny and unremarkable that she blends into the gloom. She's been watching you since you arrived, following you with bright, intense eyes. You notice that one of her arms is missing at the elbow. He's here. Oh, great. Turn away! No, greetings. The whispers told me you were coming, Castoff. They often do when someone they regard as interesting finds their way to the bloom. Her voice is soft and shifting, as if everything she says is echoed by the chittering voices of the bloom. Oh, great. This can only end well. Suddenly, she is at your side, one small hand touching your arm. Ah! Her eyes probe yours. Did you come here with purpose? Do you know what place this is? You realize that this shrine does feel familiar, as if you, or perhaps the changing god, have been here before. Before I answer, tell me how you know about Castoffs. Try to remember. It's a shrine to the woman who is memorialized in the giant statue. It's a den of lunatics! No, I don't, should I? I'm gonna try to remember. I'm remembering. You scan the room, searching for anything that might seem familiar. A metallic gleam catches your eye from the nearby slab of stone. It lies partly buried beneath a motley pile of offerings, but the unusual shape of the metal sparks a memory. Ah! The old woman follows your gaze. He left that as an offering, your sire did when he was here. You can almost feel the weight of the device in your hand. With a sudden jarring clarity, you see the chamber as it was 40 years past, when the changing god stood before a group of robed bloom cultists, offering the device in trade for information. He pored over every scroll, she whispers half to herself, wanting to learn how Chila forged a friendship with the bloom, a bond that imposed no price upon her, or so he thought. Ah! Extremities of the Great Devourer. I gotta look back at the Codex one of these days. It might be important. And now, here you are, in the shrine of Chila the Great, Chila Silverskin, Chila the Bride of the Hammer, and I am her Observant Speck. When the changing god was here, what did he want from the bloom? What can you tell me about Chila? I want to know more about you. Is this a place of worship? I met a man outside. He claims to be the former Mavra. May I sleep here? Hey. What did he want? To create a portal to another world, a place called the Ascension. Oh! Interesting. He believed that the crystals of that world would save him from death, so he descended to the bloom's heart and forged a bond of sorts. From that bond, a new Maul was born. It took your sire to the world he sought. She purses her lips. But for every bond, the bloom always exacts a price. If it could not feast upon your sire, then it will find a way to devour one of his offspring. More than one, perhaps. Her eyes glitter. Oh, that's great. That's awesome news. What can you tell me about Chila? Stories, she murmurs, passed from one speck to the next. So many stories told by so many tongues. Too many to hold in my head, but the bloom remembers, and it whispers in my ears to remind me. Oh! It's like my anxiety. Tell me where Chila came from. The speck closes her eyes and cocks her head like a bird's, as if listening to the voices of the bloom. As she begins to speak, the faint chitters and whispers that always underlie her words grow louder, twisting them around in your head and spawning images in your mind's eye. Speak to me, whispers. Tell me again about Chila. Yes, fun times, fun times. Look up, high on the cliffs, a sturdy little house. The cliffs of Sagus flash before your eyes, crowded with old ramshackle homes. They cling to the rocks like spindly crabs high above the sea. One of them catches your eye, a pretty little house, freshly painted blue and green, in a solid nook of stone. If this turns out to be that house that was out on that ledge that tumbled away, or was tumbling away, then I shall be moderately satisfied. with the storytelling practices exhibited here. I have become so cynical. Oh God. Anyway. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's just fine. Everything's fine. Okay. A pretty little house painted blue and green in a solid nook of stone. A man and a woman dwell inside, a father and a mother. 2 children they have, a girl and a boy. Now you can see the people, too. The girl is tall for her age, robust and strong. Her brother is small and cautious and quick. Keep listening. No more stories for now. I have other questions. Enough of this. Farewell. Keep listening. One day, the father pulls a treasure from the sea. You can see the man in a fishing boat, hauling a silvery cylinder out of his net, looking at it in wonder. He brings it home to his family. What shall I do with this artifact, he wonders, for I am a simple man, not a wizard or a sage. The man glances out the window of his house and sees his 2 children playing in the street. Artifacts bring trouble, he says to himself, and I have a family to protect. I'll bring this treasure to the boss of the town, and she will thank me for it. So the next day the man gathers the treasure in a sack and sets out for the manor at the top of the cliffs. His daughter, Chila, wants to go with him, but he shakes his head and goes alone. Oh, sorry, it's right now. Okay, keep listening. Many weeks pass. The man never returns from the manor on the hill. Chila asks everyone she knows, but no one has seen her father. One day, just as she and her brother leave their house in the morning, they hear a crash behind them. In your mind's eye, you can see the pretty little house pulling away from the cliff, its wooden supports snapping like twigs, bursting apart as it falls toward the sea. It strikes you as strange that this house, seemingly kept so much better than its neighbors, should collapse so suddenly. I am moderately satisfied. The children race back along the road, only to find that their house is gone, and their mother lies dead among the rocks. As her brother curls up in the street and weeps, Chila stands beside him, gazing toward the manor and at the top of the cliffs. I know you did this, she whispers, and I know what you did to my father. The treasure you took from him is my birthright, and I will have it back. That's what drove her, vengeance. Tell me again where Chila came from. Tell me how Chila found her way to the Woods of the Bloom. Tell me what Chila did to warrant such respect. That's what drove her. Not vengeance, a desire to be extraordinary. The Speck's voice is quiet again, the whispers receded, and you sense that these words are truly her own. Chila believed that her parents were easy victims because no one knew who they were. But if they had been prominent and well known, the boss of Sagus wouldn't have dared to harm them. But they were small and simple folk, so no one cared when they died. I mean, there was this whole thing about, no, wait a minute. There was this whole thing I'm remembering, I think, about the... I can't remember what they're called. But, those beings with carapaces, burrowing beings, getting in and causing structural support issues back there. So maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look. But it is a thought. Chila believed that her parents were easy. Okay, blah, blah, blah. For what else matters but to be known? The changing god also knew this. The desire to be extraordinary. Okay. Tell me how Chila found her way to the bloom. Once again, the Speck cocks her head and closes her eyes. When she speaks, the chitters and whispers of the bloom spark images in your mind, and you can almost see the events she describes. Speak to him as well, the Castoff. Show him the truth of the past. Look up, up. Two orphans climb the cliffs toward the manor high above. In your mind's eye, you see a brother and a sister in their late teens as they scale the sheer cliffs of Sagus. Above them, carved from the natural rock, looms a great walled house. It belongs to a woman, the boss of Sagus and the mistress of the bloom, she who killed their parents and took their birthright for herself. The girl is Chila, tall, broad-shouldered, and flamboyantly dressed like a glittering gem against the dull stone of the cliffs. The boy is her brother, Shade, slender and quick, cowled in black. Keep listening. Through the unguarded window they climb, slipping into the garden beyond. There at its heart is the artifact, their birthright. In your mind's eye, Chila and Shade crouch on a ledge. You can see the artifact, as they must have, a metallic cylinder fitted into a strange device. She leans forward, so eager to see what is rightfully hers, but the ground turns slick and she falls, toppling into the ocean, close enough to the artifact that she can almost reach. But she's snared in a net of rainbow light. You can see Chila crumpled under the strange net, trapped, calling for her brother. Toppling into the garden. Did I say toppling into the ocean? Am I exhibiting signs of word salad? We must... Did I see the word ocean when I and say that when I should have read the word garden? I do not know. Let's see. But she's snared in a net of rainbow light. Toppling into the garden. It's a garden, Jim. Okay. Or did I just imagine that I did that? You can see Chila crumpled under the strange net, trapped, calling for her brother. Shade watches from the shadows. He makes no move to help. Keep listening. Betrayed, hisses the Speck, led into a trap by her twin. But if she couldn't have the artifact, at least she could touch. The Speck's voice strains and as it does so, you can feel Chila straining, reaching a hand through the net. As her finger brushes the artifact, it flares with brilliant light, and it's gone. But not gone. Not really. It's part of Chila now, changing her slowly from within. She can sense the change, but she doesn't know what it means. Not yet. Not as they lead her away. You catch a glimpse of Chila being led in chains from the great house. She is cast into the bloom as a slave, and there, the Speck smiles softly and warm. She meets me. Tell me what Chila did to warrant such respect. But it wasn't really you, right? Yeah, actually, we need to ask that question first. No, not me. She shakes her head slowly, as if she isn't certain of her own words. It was another woman called the Speck, my namesake. The insignificant Speck. That's who she was back then. Upgraded from insignificant to observant within the intervening years, one would presume. Tell me what Chila did to warrant such respect. We shall ask that now. In the dark, in the bleeding guts of the bloom, a score of young women crouch in a cell, carved from the living flesh of the bloom. You can barely see the girls in your mind's eye, thin and tired, huddled against the fleshy walls, bound in chains. Who they were before doesn't matter. They're slaves now, doomed to labor in the dark. One day, someone new is brought to their cell and chained beside a small girl who calls herself the Speck. The old woman smiles. Wait. Sorry, I'm having to take out a moment for mustache management, as it appears not to have woken fully up yet and is all over the place. It's trying desperately to tickle me to death. Okay. Alright, there we go. Curses! Alright. Human hair. What can you say? The old woman smiles. The new slave says her name is Chila. Even in chains, she meets the guard's eyes, and they look away. Already the bloom whispers in her ears. Chila places her hands upon its flesh and strikes a bargain. Ooh, keep listening. You owe us, Chila whispers to the bloom. For the slaves you've eaten, for the Speck's arm that you devoured. You owe us something in return. The flesh trembles beneath her hand, and it opens. Beyond is a chamber full of weapons. You catch a glimpse of Chila passing blades and stranger armaments to other girls in her cell. Armaments. Sheila picks a glowing hammer for herself, or maybe the bloom does. It fits her hand like it was made for her, and it never leaves her side again. Then we gather together and make our plan to escape. Keep listening. When all of us are ready, Chila starts hammering on the door to our cell. The guards come running, and we fall upon them, cutting them down, tearing them apart. Then Chila leads us from our prison, and we pour into the market, gathering more and more slaves to her banner. We kill every master we can find. In the market, we decide to make our stand. Chila knows that her enemy, the boss of Sagus, the woman who killed her parents and turned her brother against her, can't ignore us. We form up into ragged lines. Then we hear them. The roar of the soldiers, the tread of heavy boots getting closer, closer. Somehow you can hear them too, along with the terrified murmurs of the slaves as they grip their weapons and prepare to fight for their lives. Noise. Confusion. The Speck's eyes are still closed, but she staggers back, raising a hand to defend herself against an invisible attack, as if she thinks she's in the midst of a battle. You can faintly hear the screams and cries, the clank of steel on steel. I stay by Chila's side when the battle is joined. I try to guard her back, but she's struck, first by an arrow, then by a blade. Whenever they cut her flesh, silver scales grow over the wound, and she keeps on fighting. Chila knows why. When she touched the artifact, her birthright, it became a part of her, changed her, so that she cannot be killed. She smiles, raises her hammer, crushes the skull of every soldier who stands against her. A shadow passes overhead. It's her traitorous brother, Shade, soaring on wings of flesh and steel, come to kill her at last. He's had an upgrade. He strikes her once, twice, and again. The Speck's voice goes quiet. Each time, silver scales grow to cover the wound. Instead of getting weaker, Chila grows stronger. She grabs him by the foot and smashes him into the ground. But instead of killing him, she speaks to him. It's a whisper, and I can hear what she says. And I can't hear what she says. And I can't hear what she says. But Shade begins to weep. When she lets him go, he stays on the ground. The battle is won, and the enemy soldiers are running. Chila goes to face the woman who killed her parents. I leave you with your life, she tells her, but not your name. Get out of here and never come back. You can almost see the broken woman, a feared warlord only hours before, fleeing alone and in shame from the battle. The Speck pauses and opens her eyes. That's where the story ends. Our enemy fled, and the bloom was ours. Sagus Cliffs was ours. Chila became the first Memovera. We ended the trade in slaves, and Chila ruled Sagus and all the lands around for half a century, until the bloom called her to its heart. There are many questions now. What happened to Chila's enemy, the boss of Sagus? She was forgotten. Some of the slaves said that they followed her, thinking to kill her despite Chila's promise of safe passage. But before they had a chance, she vanished. She escaped to another world, or was eaten by the bloom. A mischievous smile plays at the old woman's lips. I prefer to think the latter. You keep saying we as if you were there. She blinks. I see the memories as if I was there, as if I was her, the first Speck. But I couldn't have been there, it was too long ago. The bloom called Sheila to its heart. What does that mean? The whispers called her and she disappeared into the depths. Maybe it took her to another world. Or maybe she still lives down there. One day she'll return for her Speck. I'm sure of that. The whispers wouldn't lie. She will return for one Speck. For one Speck. Perhaps not me, but someday. Sheila ended the trade in slaves, but now it's returned. In a different form, yes. The old slave-holding families bided their time for generations, marrying themselves into the new leading families of freed slaves. They found ways to justify slavery as a punishment for the wicked. Prisoners with jobs. Yeah, there we go, once again. Oh, boy. So it is with the wealthy and powerful. They're more like bloom flesh than they'd care to admit. Stubborn, enduring, difficult to kill. So we already heard this information. I have some other questions. I want to know more about you. She nods. Her bright eye is still fixed upon yours. I want to know more about you. Her small hand enfolds the stump of her missing arm, a self-conscious gesture. I'm only a speck, a mote of dust easily missed. Nothing important, save for the words I speak, the stories I tell to those who would hear them. But I observe much that passes in the bloom, and I hear still more in its whispers. The whispers you hear are the voices of the bloom? So they are. Her eyes glitter. A lot of people hear them, but none as clearly as me. How did you lose your arm? I didn't. She did, the first Speck, the insignificant one. All right. Then how did she lose her arm? But your arm's missing. Look. Right. I guess I was mistaken. Boy. Yeah. There's a thing happening here where there's perhaps a bit of identity bleed. Or perhaps not remembering who one truly is. It was the red tide. No, not the red tide. Eaten by the bloom. It was taken in her sleep, cauterized at the elbow. Just like... She stops herself, appearing confused. You were sure she was about to say, mine. Just like the stories say. No, mine wasn't eaten. It was... nothing. What was I thinking about? Tell me again now you lost your arm. Oh, God. Do we want to go down this path here? You're confusing me with the real Speck, the one from the stories. I told you I didn't lose my arm. Yeah. She blinked several times in succession. Yeah, okay. Do I have any other questions? I have more questions about you. Is this a place of worship? Not really. People come to be close to the bloom because its mind is strong here. Oh, great. They leave offerings. She waves her stump at the nearby slab. Valuables they've stolen, trophies of their kills, proof that they're hunters, not prey. Oh, great. That wonderful dichotomy that people enjoy so much. Are you a leader or a priestess? What sort of people leave offerings? Does the bloom respond better to thieves and murderers? Are you a leader or a priestess? She laughs aloud. Me? Making speeches, punishing the sinful. No, I'm only a Speck. They let me stay here and I tell them stories, that's all. Perhaps they think of me that way. Part of their illusion, I suppose. What sort of people leave offerings? Bloom cultists most of all, but also guides, scavengers, merchants who fear to lose their precious cargo, travelers from other worlds, and the Mimavra before she lost the favorite of the bloom. She'd heaped the offering stone with the heads and hands of those she killed. So haughty she was back then, so sure the bloom loved her, and things would never change. The old woman tisks, nothing is forever in the bloom. Does the bloom respond better to thieves and murderers asking for a friend? She shrugs. Sometimes it pays more attention to them. Whether you want the attention of the bloom is another question. Predators is perhaps a better term for what it wants. Those who prey like it preys. Oh, great! Okay, we're good, I think. I don't think I have anything else I need to, oh yeah, this. I met a man outside. He claims to be the former Mamavra. So he was. A man who enjoyed holding lives at his mercy, pronouncing judgment from his throne. You hear the chittering, whispering voices of the bloom behind the Speck's words, twisting their way into your mind. When you blink your eyes, the image of an imperious-looking man flashes before you, the same man you met outside, but younger, stronger, with a cruel curl to his lip. Lip acting. The whole bloom was his palace, the seed of a kingdom he would build, for such was his ambition, and the bloom loved him for it. Such power it gave him. What sort of power? Every Mamavra can open a maw at a touch, but not all can summon maws to their side. Fewer still can call them outside the fleshy walls of the bloom, as he could. Interesting. But the bloom turned on him, just as it's turning on the Mamavra now. Just as it always does. So many lives cut short by his hand, so much fear bound up with his name. He'd grown fat with the terror and strife that he sowed. In the mind of the bloom, he was a beast made plump for its slaughter. For the slaughter, yeah. The bloom eats terror and strife? He should have seen what was coming and escaped. That sounds like justice to me. That's terrible. I mean, you know. What tide will this be? It won't be a tide, okay. Bloom eats terror and strife. It might, or perhaps it devoured his legacy of terror and strife, rolling him around in its guts until he was forgotten, until he forgot himself. She shrugs. Who knows? The whispers don't say. Once again, I am reminded, one of these days, I need to write something down or something so that my various brain problems don't get in the way of this. But hey, content warning. There it is. Okay. Yeah, might be biological horror involved here. Okay. Let's see. Perhaps it devoured his legacy of terror and strife, rolling him around in its guts until he was forgotten, until he forgot himself. Who knows? The whispers don't say. He should have seen what was coming and escaped. You'd think, right? There it is, blue tide. That's the one I was looking for. They never do. Just a little longer, they say to themselves. Another month in power or another year. That's all I need to build a legacy that will stand forever. It's like the stock market.
I'm ready to become even more heroic.
Oh no! XP! The Speck slowly spins herself in a circle. It's all a cycle, round and round. Feast on one Mamavra, raise another in its place, in his place. Let the hunger build. She stops and feast again. So now the bloom wants to eat this Mamavra. That's why she's hiding in her tower. How long has the bloom's cycle been going on? If Sheila was the first Mamavra, wouldn't she have been part of the bloom's feeding cycle too? I mean, these are all good questions, and I hope I get to ask all of them. We're going to try this one first. Too scared to leave her tower, too proud and stubborn to abandon the bloom. She's no different than the others who preceded her. The bloom will eat her, and her name will be forgotten. The current Mamavra. How long has the cycle been going on? Since the time of Chila, at least, so 4 centuries? 5? She seems momentarily confused. Has it really been that long? I mean, you know, there's enough evidence of stuff that the bloom has swallowed around that certainly seems to make sense, but I don't know. There's something weird here with time. She seems momentarily confused. Before that, who knows? There was no Speck to watch and remember. Certainly the bloom is much older than that. Likely the cycle is just as ancient. Oh, hey, Anna. Hey, Numenera. Hello. We're playing Torment Tides of Numenera. And, just basically... adventures in reading. No. And following dialogue trees. We're talking about, the figure that kind of was, helped start this cult, I guess, basically. The first Mamavra, Chila. Certainly the bloom is much older than that. Yes, okay, good. Tell me how long the bloom's cycle has lasted. Tell me again. No, we already talked. Well, no, I want to see if she's even more confused. Since Chila walked the bloom, maybe longer, but the whispers don't say. If Chila was the first Mamavra, wouldn't she have been part of the bloom's feeding cycle too?
I'm ready to become even more heroic.
XP! The Speck turns to you sharply, eyes glittering. What are you saying? He is not the first to think he's discovered some great secret. The blue tide raised. If the others were eaten, then she was too. I know it's painful to hear, but she may not be coming back. She is proof that the cycle can be beaten. A person can bond with the bloom and survive if they're strong enough. Nothing, never mind. I think it makes sense to say if the others were eaten, then she was too. This sounds slightly Hebraic. She's proof that the cycle can be beaten. I guess we'll try this. Blue tide, excellent. That's what I was hoping for. No, she was taken to its heart as a friend. Her legacy lives in her chronicles, in this statue, in my words. The bloom won't let her be forgotten, and that's proof that she's not like the others. The bloom is absorbing this statue! When it's gone, Chila will be forgotten. If the bloom took Chila to its heart, where is she now? Perhaps you're right. I mean, I'd like to know that. Still there, perhaps. Time runs differently in the depths of the bloom. The old woman's eyes lose their focus and her voice grows even softer. One day she'll come back for her Speck. Ah, great. Let's talk about something else. Actually, I don't think we have anything else. May I sleep here? I don't really want to sleep here. But I'll ask anyway. If you don't mind the stink of the moldering blankets, they won't mind you. She holds out a tiny hand. But hospitality has a price. 45 shins for each guest. Now that's cheaper than it would have been at the other place. But the other place is now free, so... But I've changed my mind. Farewell. I'll see you again, Castoff. Okay. I'm going to save the game. Not out of anything crazy I'm about to do, but mostly just out of reading a long and tiring dialogue tree. I can't spell out communicating. Oh no! All right. Before I go touching things, let's go talk to everyone. Oh, that's right. Eratus is leveling up. He's ready to become more powerful. Okay, now if only I can remember what it was I wanted to. I wanted to improve with him. We shall have to figure it out. Okay. So we can give him extra effort, or ability, or skill. Extra effort would not be bad. What abilities do we have? You choose between either improving, picking a new skill or one of your abilities. Healing, persuasion, smashing. Better smashing, initiative, running. No. I can't improve. There's nothing to improve. Okay. Extra effort, I think, would be a little more beneficial right now. Yes, spend more effort. There we go. Surrender your ergs. Anyway. I just wanted to see what would happen with the captioner when I used the word ergs, and it came out as legs. Yep, there it is. Okay, oh, now you say ergs. Yes, I see how it is. I see how it is, web captioner. I see. Okay. Hi. Leave off. Okay. Fine. But this person has a name. The Speck has always been here, even in my grandmother's day. They all look about the same, too. They might be the same person. This person has a name, and therefore... and antlers! I mean, there are antlers, for goodness sake. I know this person's going to come into play at some point. Maybe we just have to come back and do something.
All right.
Is it all right, really? Yeah, but antlers, for goodness sake. All right. A slab of pitted stone sits in the center of the shrine, heaped with a motley display of offerings. The metallic gleam of a device catches your eye again, the mysterious offering left by the changing god. Look more closely at the device left by the changing god. Examine the offerings. Leave the offerings alone. Look more closely at the device that was left by the changing god. Only one end of the device protrudes from underneath some other offerings, its sharp edges glinting azure in the flickering light of the shrine. You're certain it belonged to the changing god, and you suspect that it's a mirror caster. Oh, good God. Another mirror caster. Oh, no. Let's examine the offerings. Put off the temptation for a bit. The objects on the slab are a bizarre mixture of trophies left by visitors to the shrine. Many of the offerings appear to be food of the most ghastly nature. Candied... what? Content warning! For grotesquerie here. Candied eyeballs, amputated fingers and claws, and little cakes and pies, and puddings made from other unidentifiable organs, probably all harvested from vanquished foes. You also see broken weapons, severed limbs, and a scattering of silver items, little pots, cutlery, buttons, and other discarded scraps of the metal. People have obviously been leaving their offerings here for some time, and everything is a jumbled mess. Okay, let's take the Mirrorcaster. Oh, no, not you. And not you. Not you. But you. You have a chance. Not as good a chance as I would like, but a chance nonetheless. 60%. 65% if I blow my my everything here. 75% for her if I spend more. And you? 65. Okay. We're gonna have Rin do it. Here we go. Yes. Excellent. Good. Teach the young girl thievery. Awesome. Why are we doing this? You wait until the Speck's attention briefly shifts away, and then seize the device from the slab, careful not to knock any of the other offerings to the ground. The Speck turns back toward you, eyes glittering, and you think you hear a faint hissing, growling noise beneath the whispers of the bloom. Even though she says nothing, you suspect that she and the bloom know what you did. Darn right, you know what we did. We got XP. The device is cylindrical in shape, wrought from azure steel with curved, sharpened projections on all sides, making it difficult to hold. It feels familiar to you, like a family heirloom that you've only heard about in stories, but always pictured in your mind. Somehow you know it's a Mirrorcaster. I don't want to go into another mirror. I don't want to. Maybe soon. But it is worth a lot. Azure steel. The device is cylindrical in shape, wrought from azure... Use item. No! Wrought from azure steel. Its curved, sharpened projections make it difficult to hold. Alright. We'll go into the mirror later. Well, time to go! Okay, look. There's a reason we took the Mirrorcaster.
All right.
Thief! Thief! Okay. Well, that was delightful.
Yes.
I wonder if the interaction with him has changed at all. No, never mind. Hey, you doing all right?
Ask your questions.
No, we're good. Okay. I guess we got to figure out what we're gonna do next. Might help. One never knows. I think I can probably go for something like another half hour, but then I'm probably gonna have to dip out. I think. I don't know. Maybe. I might be able to go longer. I don't know. Must recover. Oh, hey, Crit Witch, hi. Here for more tormenting, eh? No. Sadly, this is not game prep. This is, it's not that kind of torment. This is more self-torment than anything else. Oh, wait. I already named something exploration. I need better names. Doesn't really matter what we call it. Alright. So, basically, if we're continuing to explore before we wander back and buy things from various places, we can go there. Or we can go there. I have forgotten which one is the one that might be more dangerous. Let me go to the codex real quick and see if there was information about it. Are there like portraits of everyone? There are. See, this is very good because there's a lot to forget. But this will help me remember. The extremities of the Great Devourer. This was the new entry that came in. Maybe I am looking for something else. That's not what I'm looking for. No! What am I looking for? Alright, I'm just gonna go to one. I can't remember. I can't remember which is which. Which place got inhabited by what? Maybe Sunderman was the one who told me. Just gonna go through real quick. Where do the Murdens go? We don't know. Okay. Well.
All right.
I guess we'll go here first. During a crisis, move party members to opposite sides of an enemy to inflict the flanked fettle on them. Inflict the flanked fettle. Say that 3 times fast. Oh, hey, there's a maw. It's waving hello to us. This also is perhaps where we can find someone to help Eratus. I do not wish to lose Eratus necessarily, but I mean I don't want to lose anyone necessarily, but I feel as though the end of this game is designed slowly for us to just basically lose our companions. I guess we'll figure it out then. Okay, interesting. Alright. Mercenaries. Let's chat with the mercenaries. Hope you're for treatment. Our Chiurgeons are running out of protection money. Oh, okay. Sorry, is under the protection of Artadlio's irregulars. It's good to have guilds. This is a simple military tent made to be raised and broken down quickly. As is that. The size and condition of this tent leave no room for doubt that it belongs to the person in charge around here. Artaglio, there he is. Artaglio! Mercenary. Renard? Inside this basket are several tumorous blobs. They appear to be slowly ingesting each other. That's awesome. That delightful liquid. Strips of bloom flesh fill the bottom of the basket. Some of them look like they've been gnawed by human teeth. This creature was half dissected and then forgotten. Its innards have turned putrid and black. A mass of bloom flesh quivers on the table, picked at by humming machines. Every so often one of them administers an electrical shock to the flesh, which responds with a scratchy little whine. This gruesome illustration depicts a human body suffering a multitude of different types of physical trauma. Next to each are annotations such as exquisite reaction and result is disappointingly premature. Loss of consciousness. Diagrams depicting the human head and brain stand in a corner of the room. Ah, Chiurgeons. The deck is littered with what appears to be journals recording medical experiments. This is Obervich and Demere. Okay. I mean, let's just start heading this way. If we can. Oh, we can't. Unreachable.
Ready.
Why is it unreachable?
Did you want something?
Nope, sorry, misclicked.
Did you want
No!
something?
I want nothing!
All right.
Hang on. Let's shift around a bit. That's great. I need to get to the thing in order to do the other thing.
All right.
But there appears to be no way to get to the thing, as it's unreachable.
All right.
So, this may mean that, nope, you just have to click on a person. It's the only way. If you have business with the Artalios irregulars, you talk to Artalio. Okay. No, I just had to click on a person to get over there. I'm on duty. It doesn't involve talking to strangers. Grab a cup, stranger, if you can handle your alcohol, that is. I'm curious about this jaunt person. I'll talk to Artalio first. Codex entry unlocked. Artalio! The features of this once handsome man are sunken and splotchy, the face of anxiety and drink, evidenced by the flagon in his hand. The veins of his nose have broken, giving a rosy appearance. And this person walking by just came in at the corner of my vision from out. I was like, ah! But anyway, what are you doing over there? Okay. The veins of his nose are broken, giving it a rosy appearance. Any cheer that might have lived in his face is destroyed by the frequent nervous glances over his shoulder. Following his gaze, you see a knotted mass of bloom flesh, surrounded by waving tendrils some distance away. He looks you over, his eyes lingering on your cast-off tattoo. He takes a slow, deliberate drink. Come looking for soldiers, have you? You found us. Want a kingdom overthrown, a tomb robbed, a caravan guarded? If you got the shins, then you've still come to the wrong place. Wrong place. Italio's irregulars are not ready to serve. Go hang. A thrice-stamped cast-off. He won't be dragging my men back to that hell. Then he reconsiders. Fine. What do you want? What is this place? Chiurgeon Slump. Horniest place in all the bloom. We've got the good doctors Demaray and Obovich here. If you're sick, they'll see you right. As long as your illness is interesting enough. Need something alchemical? See Sheen. Our job is making sure no one gets too friendly with their shins but us. Anyone who wants to make a home here, he pauses as he looks at your tattoo. Almost anyone who wants to make a home here is welcome if they can pay the price. Okay. Some people might call this a protection racket. He takes another swig and glances sidelong again at the knotted mass of bloom flesh. Not in my hearing, though, unless they want to make use of one of the leeches themselves. Have you seen any of the amorphous patrols around here?
Making a note.
They stopped by to collect their duties a while ago. He belches. Can't remember when exactly. I think they were headed for the old slave block next. That's where the Murdens live. He lifts his mug in a mock salute. Best of luck to them. Why did you stare at my tattoo? He licks his lips. You're cast off. I'm waiting for you to tell me the penalty for desertion. He holds up his hand as if to motion a stop, and you see that his troops are all watching you. But unless you come with more strength than this, you'll have a hard time enforcing that penalty. What are you talking about? Desertion from what? I'm a deserter from the Endless Battle, the Changing God's side. Don't tell me you haven't heard of me. He looks away. Don't answer that. Let me tell you what happened. We've been working for the commander they call the Chalcedon for years. We earned our pay the hard way, but we did it honorably. We took bigger and bigger risks. When I objected one day, the Chalcedon told me any Castoff could do my job and for cheaper. Any Castoff could do my job and for cheaper. There we go. Castoffs don't die easy. Not true for the rest of us. When we took our last objective for the Chalcedon, we found a nest full of Duralisks. Not one, mind you, but many. I reported it personally to the Chalcedon, the commander of the Changing God's army, and she told me to wipe them out no matter the cost. Having lost 10 of my friends that day, the cost was already too high. He glances again at the Maw. Damn Castoffs think they're gods, all of them. Couldn't give a damn about us. So I took it on myself to get the pay we were owed, and then we left. We came here to carve out a living, but it looks like we're still not clear of Castoffs. Yes, we deserted our posts. The endless battle is a ruiner of lives, and I'm damn proud I didn't waste any more time there. I didn't waste any more there. Wait, waste any more there? More time? Ruiner of lives? I didn't waste any more of his life. Okay, that's enough. You're a soldier? Tell me about that. Oh, I didn't introduce myself. How rude. He swigs again, then makes a mock bow. Artalio, condottiere at your service. Veteran of countless battles, mercenary, not currently for hire. A condottiere? A professional warlord. A venture captain. A mercenary leader. These days, a protector for the good leeches of the slump. Why aren't you for hire? He peers into your face. I'd have thought you were here for the bounty. Didn't the Chalcedon send you? He looks back to you. We deserted from the endless battle. We fought for the first militia on occasion, but for the Changing God's army most times, until we were given a near impossible task. I don't even know this Chalcedon. I'll accept payment not to tell the Chalcedon you're here. I don't care about any of that. I just want some questions answered. Like what? What's that you're drinking? This is Astarian rum, one of the finest and deadliest concoctions I found in my travels across this land. It's like being smothered in a blanket of soft fur and drowned in love. You can strip the gloss off just about any material you care to name, too. Most people can't drink one mug, let alone two. Even these brave soldiers find it hard going. But you? I challenge you to match me, and I'll match you. Put that vaunted Castoff constitution to the test. You think you can outdrink me? I doubt it. I mean, there's perhaps something to be gained here. The question is, can we get Eratus to drink rather than the Castoff? Well, we can give it a try. Nope, it's just me. But thankfully, I have all 10 of my might pool currently, which we will spend. We'll spend half of it. I mean, 90%'s not bad. No, we will spend half of it. Okay. It burns on the way down. He wasn't kidding about its harsh qualities, but he failed to mention the acrid sting it puts in your nose. Tears spring to your eyes, but you manage to swallow it all. Artalio beams broadly. Have another? Well, then maybe Castoffs are good for something. Absolutely! Sure, I've got 5 more. It was only 80%, that one. It doesn't go down any easier than the first. In fact, it's a little tougher, but you managed to choke it down. I appear to have spent too much. And though your stomach rebels, you're able to keep it under control. Most people can't drink 1 mug, let alone 2, even these brave soldiers. He gestures to the crowd around him, irony inflecting his voice. Even these mighty warriors find it hard going. But you, I challenge you to match me, and I'll match you. Put that vaunted Castoff constitution. I've had enough. I don't have any more to spend. Have it your way, Castoff. He turns his back to you and begins to regale his mercenaries with a tale. So tell them I'm a visitant who knows nothing of human anatomy, and she says she'd be happy to show. Oh, God. Maybe when I've had a chance to sleep and I get more health, perhaps I will come back and I will try to do that. I'd like to take another shot at your drinking game. Maybe later. Why do you keep looking over that knot of bloom flesh? That's what I really want to know. The ball? No reason. I just don't like the way the damn thing looks. I don't like the way it sounds. He takes another drink. You don't hear that whispering, chittering noise that sounds like primal hunger. He looks suspiciously at his flagon. It wants to eat me. I know it wants to eat me. Worried that it might be sneaking up on me, and I might accidentally be slipping backward toward it. You don't fight in as many battles as I have without recognizing a potential death wish in your own heart. How would you recognize a death wish? The best solution is to take charge, command these troops, and lead them out of here. And do something about it. I am curious. Blue tide, yes! It's in the darkness. He peers gloomily around the slump. In your marrow, you can feel your muscles, your soul rebelling against your own desires. And when you turn around, you find your desires have changed. Oh, yeah. Then he looks at you again and seems to realize who he's talking to. Tabat, take me! Why am I opening my heart to a Castoff? Get out of here! He turns his back to you. I want to talk about the Maw. He shivers. I'd rather not. He looks over his shoulder again, as if afraid that it has crept closer. All right, fine. What do you want to talk about? What hell happened if the Maw eats you? Why does the Maw want to eat you? If the Maw wants you, maybe you should confront it. Maybe you can scare it. Or maybe you can convince it that you're not worth the trouble. Ah, yes. That's how we open the Maw. What will happen if the Maw eats you? I really need to open that Maw. It'll take what it wants of me, then it'll open a portal to somewhere. He shrugs. Same thing that always happens when a Maw feeds. Why does the Maw want to eat you? I have no idea. It's hungry for bravery, I think. But I tell you frankly, the idea of bravery around this thing unmans me. I haven't got anything for it to eat. Huh. I really need to open that Maw. Maybe we'll come back to. We're gonna put a pin in that. I'll be in a hurry to come back. We're gonna put a pin in that before we start manipulating people into doing what we want, as the Changing God did.
On it.
It is interesting. Yunt. The skin of this broad-shouldered man looks blotchy, even patchwork. It slumps from his frame. As if he had lost a great deal of weight, he bobs his bald head in greeting as you approach, and his neck moves like it's broken, yet he seems to be in no pain, and his movements are quick and assured. His voice is sonorous, but fluting with a strange buzz that grates on your nerves. Okay. Greetings, Sojourner. You stand with Jaunt. Tell me about yourself. I have the pleasure of being Jaunt. I believe it is a pleasure. I do not have a memory any longer, and so I do not know. So I know not how the future remembers me. The burden of knowledge is gone. Yeah, that's like the other guy that we met down in Lilniesh. The bloom takes a lot out of a person. What can you tell me about the... Wait, no, just anything? I believe, but do not know for certain that I have the pleasure of being Jaunt. All other knowledge is gone. That's great. What can you tell me about those soldiers over there? Angry men, always drinking, always armed. Best to approach with caution. Smile, hand open. He opens his mouth and then snaps it shut. But to speak nothing is my policy. If you tell me more about the soldiers, I may be able to help you. Yeah, actually, let's try that. This would be better if we had Tiber with us, but anyway. Easier. I mean, 65% ain't nothing. 85% is even better. Let's check, though. I mean, is there... Should I even bother? Should I? No. Alright, here we go. These are things we can spend now that sleeping is free. Jaunt looks carefully at the soldiers, probably to be certain they aren't listening. Perhaps your interest peaks when I tell you that Murdens from Old Slave Block raided this place some days ago. They steal the soldiers' standards, their flag of battle. Ooh! And if someone wants to have their captain owe him a favor, return his standard. This makes the proud soldier a slave for a moment. A person could force him to a task or make him lose face with his troops. A task that frees the slump, perhaps. Interesting. Okay. What happened to your skin? He gestures in the direction of the soldiers. Do you see that maw beyond them? The tongues there, they once seek me out, and I, bedazzled by them, give myself to their taste. He shrugs, sending a ripple through his loose-fitting skin. I awake sometime later. Agony is my lot. He nods solemnly. The maw has stripped my skin and stolen my muscles. It has eaten my memories. I do not recall who I am before or where I come from, or even my own appearance. All I know is pain. Oof. Yeah. If the good Chiurgeons, Demare and Obovich, are not watching, I am dead. They give me new muscles they make themselves. They grow me new skin made from dead men and sew it on. They cannot match old frame perfectly, but they tell me I am a fascinating case, not human. He pulls some of the loose skin, oblivious to how painful it seems. No longer visitant, yes? Now a resident. Wow. But they cannot save my memory. The bloom is sated on me, my thoughts and dreams and other things caught up in its fabric. He shrugs. I am content. Miracle men, these doctors. They deserve a better place than under Atalio's bullies. What else can you tell me about Demare and Obovich? They work miracles, these two. If you are of interest to them, he looks at you keenly. If you are of interest to them, they bring fearsome knowledge to understand you. Farewell, Jaunt. You would be well, Sojourner. Sojourner.
I am the very soul of action.
Really?
All right, here I go.
All right. Orthong. You see a tall, nervous man pacing back and forth. His hair is a mess, his clothing stained with food and chemicals. His left eye is an engraved orb of metal, and you can hear it whirring from a distance. He casts fretful glances all around the space, as if waiting for someone or something. Do I know you? He peers at your tattoo, then at your face. You seem vaguely familiar. Perhaps I've seen you somewhere before. My name is Orthong. What can you tell me about yourself? You left a note for Allegairn at the Order of Truth, didn't you? Hey! I was a researcher at the Order of Truth, but they objected to the work I was doing for a friend. Suffice to say that it's not going well, and I can't talk about it to anyone but him. Can you tell me anything more about yourselves? Nothing that I'm comfortable sharing. He gives you a weak smile. I'm certain you understand. Yes, I vaguely remember this. You left a note for Allegairn. He closes his mouth tightly. I did. Its contents are Allegairn's business, and unless he is here with you, I'm afraid I simply cannot speak of his business. I'm sure you understand. So, we may eventually be able to get Allegairn back. My understanding is that the copper orb that we're carrying might actually be able to summon back previous companions that are not physically here. But I don't know how that works. I haven't figured it out yet, but we'll see. He pauses. But if you know Allegairn, as it seems you do, please ask him to meet me here. Or bring him here yourself. It's extremely important that I speak to him. Yeah, good luck getting out of the bloom first to be able to... It'd be nice to be able to go back and forth. No way out that I've found yet, though. Can you tell me anything more about yourself? No? No, we already went that way. What are you doing in this place? I seem out of my element, do I? It's the robes. He plucks at the rich fabric, which is far too clean for the bloom. I needed a quiet place to continue my research project, somewhere I wouldn't be disturbed. I'm not the first Eon priest to end up in the slump, though you wouldn't know it to look at these people. At least there's an educated community here, of sorts. Alright. What happened to your left eye? This? Oh, nothing. I was doing some research in the Order of Truth and found this delightful apparatus. I thought that it appeared to be a prosthetic device, and as I was studying it more closely, it leapt onto my face and devoured my eye. Then it mated itself with my visual cortex. The pain was tremendous, of course, just blinding. If you'll pardon the phrasing. But when I woke, I discovered that I could see in multiple spectra, discern remarkably small objects, and occasionally expand my consciousness into other dimensions. Or perhaps those are just the headaches paired with euphoria. Well, whatever the case, it was a worthwhile sacrifice, and I hardly ever notice it's there anymore. Well, we're good. Farewell. Blood covering this gurney does not inspire much confidence in its owner's professionalism. Detailed diagrams of various body parts cover a membrane stretched with a metal frame. Okay. Yeah. Just want to make sure we don't end up going down a path we can't turn back from when we go in here. But this game has been fairly good about that. There are certain points where it's, you know, you can't go back and check something, but we'll see, we'll see. Ah! Chiurgeon, I can make you handsome, so handsome, just let me cut your face. Great, no, I'll think about that. I'll definitely think about that. Yeesh. Okay. I'm just chatting with the Chiurgeons. All right. So, warning, we're about to go into the den of one of these people, and there's probably a lot of biological horror coming up, just so you're all aware. Not that there hasn't been a lot of biological horror already. Okay. Demaray and Obervich. What can you tell me? My God. Okay. Why, good sir, greetings, greetings, and welcome to our little operation. His long face suffuses with a smile at his joke. His sagging skin and the dark bags under his eyes speak of a deep physical weariness, but his manner is bright and cheery. He wipes his nose on a filthy sleeve and extends his hand. My name is Dr. Demaray. His partner steps forward as well. And I'm Dr. Obervich. He extends his hand. It's probably best to grasp the top one. Like his partner, his face is long and seamed. Unlike his partner, each of his arms is bifurcated at the elbow with a mechanical forearm and hand grafted to them. We've seen someone else who had that at some point during this game, but I can't remember who it was. A multitude of prosthetic eyes are drilled into the top of his head. But where are our manners? How can we help you? Eratus is trying to purge demons from his body. Can you help? What can you tell me of yourselves, and what sort of work do you do here? Let's start with that. His chest puffs. We are Chiurgeons, no doctors and explorers who seek to expand the universe of medical knowledge. We found the answers to many questions, dissecting and vivisecting any number of strange beasts, and we come ever closer to unlocking the deeper secrets of human existence. I hasten to add that We're not licensed in a number of jurisdictions, and in fact I do understand that several localities have warrants for our arrest. He gestures to himself. We do nothing to others that we are not willing to perform on ourselves. In fact, we only seek out specialized persons. We are particular about our patients. So far we've escaped arrest, not like that poor Gibra bastard, Maddock. What became of him, I wonder? What sort of work do you do here? Just curious. We take on any number of specialized patients. Take patient number 27, for example, or Jaunt, as he calls himself. He was a visitant from another world, an alien creature. Our local maw devoured him and then spat him out a year later without his skin, muscle, or memory. Yet if you look at him, you can see that he has both skin and muscle. Granted, it's human skin and muscle, but that's all we had to work with. He pauses. We couldn't do anything about his memory. The skin and muscle doesn't suit patient 27's body structure, of course, but that only makes it more amazing. Why couldn't you restore his memory? The bloom devours more than flesh and bone. It is hyper-aware, hypersentient, and its needs are still beyond our knowledge. We do know that it sometimes feeds on certain mental states, and that certain psychic wavelengths attract its attention. I theorize that it nourishes itself on those wavelengths. This is most likely what happened to Jaunt. His essence, if you will, has been absorbed and probably excreted by now. There's no recovery from that. Alright, we're gonna ask the question. Eritis is trying to purge demons from his body. Can you help? I am? Eritis says and turns to the doctors. Can you? I don't think we've ever expelled one of those. That does seem like the sort of thing one would remember. No, I think not. Growths, yes. Intestines, yes. Demons and miscellaneous supernatural infestations? Not our area of expertise, I'm afraid. Well, we could remove all infected organs and drain the fluids until the infection abates. Hold a moment. Is he interested in surviving the procedure? Is he interested in surviving the procedure? Probably. I would prefer not to be dead until I am dead, he says politely. Well, scratch that option then. I feel like we're missing something obvious.
Making a note.
Or someone, my esteemed colleague. I remember hearing about an expert in the field of nanodemons who fled to the Bloom. I cannot remember her name for the life of me, but I believe she's hiding in the old slave block. Happy hunting! Great, thank you. I appreciate that. That's good. That's wonderful. We're going to talk directly to Obervich to see if there's a different conversation tree, but aside from that, I think we're good. Friend, welcome back. Demaray wipes his nose and grabs your hand, pumping it furiously. Oh, you returned. I hope something is wrong with you. by which I mean I hope that we get to treat you. By which I mean, of course, that you are fascinating. Just fascinating. No, we're good. We're good. Just trying out conversation trees. We're done. Farewell. Good day. That was delightful.
Right.
Maw! Let's not poke the maw. I'm not poking any of the maws until I've, given everything the once over. Those regulars are gonna ruin me. Shins for this, shins for that. Never ran over bitch with my last hope. My last! The tailless Poncia is going to kill me. Oof. I am gonna go ahead and save again because we have to walk past the maw. And I don't think they're gonna do anything, but you know, you can never be too careful. Actually, I'm just going to save over that. It's fine. Also, we had an updated quest, did we not? I've been told to seek an as yet unnamed woman in the old slave block, an expert on nanodemons. There it is. Okay. Alright, there's the maw. Wants to talk to the maw. We will talk to the maw later.
Now.
We're just gonna carefully walk around the maw for now.
Best.
Metal cart is heavily armored. Its surface has been damaged by countless blades and projectiles. Now we have at the very steps. I've got your cure, hot and dry. Okay. For us. Rin keeps standing in front of the people we want to talk to. This lumpish woman has been ill-used by the years. Her clothes are tattered and gray, as if the life has been drained from them. Her face is scabrous, and when she opens her mouth to speak, her fetid breath is nearly overwhelming. She eyes you skeptically and says, "What do you want? What do you want?" "You look at Mr. High and Mighty. Wants nothing good, I'll wager. At least not for us." "Do you have anything that might be helpful for me?" "Do you?" Silver and indigo. Her mournful laugh is sharp and abrasive. "Ha! Pass on, stranger. My simple cures will do no good for your mighty highness." She turns away from you and begins to hawk her wares again. Oh, we got the indigo tied up. "Your custom's not welcome. Move away." Interesting. Well, well, well. Let me check something. I'm going to try choosing a different place in the conversation tree. The red tide represents passion, emotion, action, and... Okay. I just go calmly across the tentacles to have a chat. I'd like to ask some questions. That was the blue tide. I'll wager you would. Well, here's my question first. What's a fancy looker like you doing down here? Slumming? See how the unfortunates live? You don't belong and you ain't welcome. She turns away from you and begins to hawk her wares again. And that was the blue tide. Alright.
Let's go.
Uras. This young man's beauty shines even through his grimy face and his tattered clothes. His eyes are wide and staring electric blue, and the movements his fingers trace through the air look like birds in flight. He snaps out of his reverie and grins at you, his teeth even and white against his brown skin. On closer examination, you can see that his rags were once fine fabrics, carefully and expertly stitched. Where am I going to get more money? Hello, he looks quite affluent. He greets you with an easy familiarity, like an old companion. His voice is smooth and educated, mellifluous and soft. "Hello, friend. My name is Boris. Can you spare 200 shins?" Give him 200 shins. I don't have much money to spare. Why do you need the money? Why? Why, friend? Do you remember the first time you fell in love? The sweet laughter of an infant, the taste of a tear when you hear of a friend's death? I do. I remember them even though they haven't happened to me. He stops, puzzlement crossing his face. At least I don't think they have. But no matter, here inside this shop, Sheen sells the essence of those experiences. If you have the shins, you can live them all yourself. My family never understood. They wouldn't even try it. At least you can live them until you run out of money, which I have. Did I ask you for shins already? I could swear I did. I only need 200. Disown me? At least I think they did. I've had several families thanks to Sheen. I mean, we could lie and say we don't have the money. We're gonna pull back from that. If you happen to come into some money, remember me. Oh my god. I mean, there's something we may want to look into there. I don't know. I don't know. Sheen. First, let's examine everything. This table is covered with strange instruments and controls. The 3 sturdy metal levers, or levers depending on which side of the room you're standing, jut from a mechanism affixed to the floor. Etched along their bases are a series of symbols marking each position to which the levers can be set. Glowing barrel. Glowing other thingy. More glowing thingies. Containers of liquids. This mysterious device spews out brightly colored cubic bubbles, the result of a chemical process you can't begin to fathom. Fascinating. Alright.
To action!
Hello. When she turns, you realize that the thing you had mistaken for a bundle of sticks and twine is a woman! An impossibly thin woman, her face all angles and lines, her arms summer twigs. Her clothes drape across her like sailcloth as though her face is young. And though her face is young, her eyes are old, old, old. Her hands are pitted and scarred from alchemical processes, the apparatus for which stands in dizzying profusion behind her. She does not meet your gaze as she greets you, but her eyes rove across your body, watching and weighing. Traveler. The shop of Sheen lies open before you. Essences distilled, drafts for quaffing, experiences delivered a mouthful at a time. Her voice is flat, though an undercurrent in her voice sings at a register you cannot hear. Let me see what you have for sale. What did you mean when you said essences distilled and experiences delivered? Tell me about yourself. Can you create a mixture that will open them all here in the slump? What did you mean? That which we eat, that which we drink. This is not the only nourishment in our lives. Without joy, without peace, without happiness or courage, existence itself becomes empty. These states I recreate, and into dull lives restore aught of glory. She looks proud for a moment. Clients come to me from across the Protectorate. They desire to open themselves to new sensations, though perhaps unpleasant. Why? I ask not. Unpleasant horizons into the depths of human experiences. Human experience. Some seek solace in pain or domination or unusual abilities. Were the traveler to present a gift of a unique experience, a transfusion of energy to Sheen, arrangements might be made. This traveler, though scarred as he is, may have an interesting perspective. You tell me what you do again? No. Tell me about yourself. The expression drains from her face. From the Clock of Kala I hail. Superiority made flesh. The Clock of Kala! The city of Sada Emidu. Sada Emidu. The house above the Indigel saw my birth. My birthright. To explore, to delve, to understand. Yet the Zealotar in his wisdom, with his implants, told my family that my researches endangered me, reduced me from an augur to a mere human. Her voice has risen to a shout, and she collects herself. Oh, that was supposed to be a shout. Oh well. Reduced me from an augur to a mere human! Her voice has risen to a shout, and she collects herself. The Indigel, clear and fresh as a morning jewel. I still do not know things about the Clock of Kala that perhaps I would know had I read more books. She continues more calmly. Rather than suffer exile to this place I came. The bloom sought a piece of my mind, and so I took a piece of its. And from that connection comes the ability to draw essences. Clients seek me now, seek my knowledge, care not whether my modifications endanger me. Bliss. The angry cast of her eye suggests that these memories are anything but. She turns and spits into a bottle near her strange apparatus. Would trade it all for one more glimpse of the river city, the bloom, my suffering. Can you create a mixture that'll open them all here in the slump? Know what it seeks. All creatures live in desire. So too must the maw desire something. It wants to devour Artalio. I have no idea. Let me ask you some other questions. It kind of wants to devour Artalio. She closes her eyes as if picturing Artalio in her mind. The man wears the black mask of fear, but he carries the marks of a hero. He carries a soldier's essence, but he has forgotten its face. She frowns and holds up 2 bony fingers. 2 ways to do such. Yeah, I'm listening. 1. She holds up her first finger. Fetch me his skin, or bring me his hair, and I can find the truth of the man. A warning. The condottiere will see no change if you give him the essence. You must provide another subject. I mean to say that another must ingest his essence. She meets her gaze for a moment. The bloom is not gentle. Few would accept your offer knowing this. Only the truly desperate plot this course. 2. She lifts her second finger. I can remind him of his truth. I tell you this. The bloom will likely devour him. Simply look in his wares, and you shall find the bravery that he requires. Simply look in his wares. Simply look in my wares, and you shall find the bravery that he requires. Well, yeah, I think I figured it out. It's a question of being able to outdrink him, really. Perhaps. Perhaps. Fetch me his... Yeah. I have many unique experiences. I can provide the feeling of overwhelming another's mind with a wave of psychic energy. Her eyes widen in anticipation. Sheen has heard of such as you, dominators and manipulators. Sheen offers essences in trade for these energies. Your offering lowers my prices. Does the traveler accept? Not yet. I have other questions. We'll consider that. We'll consider. Let me see what you have for sale. All right. What have you? Element of quickness. It's a cipher. Is it a cipher? It is a cipher. Confers element of +1 speed. Essence of the Elder Unigran? Onagran? Who knows? But you get +8. You get +4 resistance, +8 energy damage on attacks. That's nice. Just selling ciphers right and left here. For example, that feeling when you get stunned by a brain dragon. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that feeling at all. I am suppressing it. Let's see. Confers +30% on deception tasks, +30% on intimidation tasks, +30% on persuasion tasks. I mean, that's not bad. Choose a lore skill. Essence of knowledge. Choose a lore skill. Permanent +1 training level to that skill. That's great. 1,000 years of rest. +1 intellect edge. Is that permanent? Who knows? Details! This vial of swirling colors contains a precious liquid that Sheen gathered from a semi-immortal being after he spent thousands of years in meditation. Once injected, it allows one to awaken a higher mental process by imparting a simulation of the time this being spent in meditation. Hey, that'd be cool. Oh, it's active for 3 sleeps. Okay, gotcha. I forgot you can right-click on these and get the lore. The lore! I'm not going to read all the lore right now. There's too much lore! So much lore! Why is there so much lore in here? They spend a lot of time on this game. Let's see. Impure Essence. Increases the stat pool with the highest max value by 2. Decreases the other pools by 1. Oh, great. Sarax Essence. Confers controlled. Forced to fight on the caster's side for 6 rounds. Essence of Bravery. Confers Essence of Bravery. Plus 60% on attacks. Plus 20% on critical hit chance on attacks. Active entire crisis. Very nice. Okay, that's cool. There's some stuff worth getting in there. But I think this is going to be where I'm going to have to close it, because it is growing later and I must quickly do the lunch things, because I have other things that I need to do immediately afterward today. So I shall save the game. Many choices to be made, but we have successfully searched this area, the Chiurgeon's zone, whatever it is they're calling it, quarters? Slump! The Chiurgeon Slump. and we will come back to this next week, most likely. When we do this again, we shall now return to our main menu. Yes. Alright. Let's do that, because we know how that's going to go. And yes. Okay. And now back to me. Hi. Thank you all very much for watching. I very much appreciate it. This is a very fun game to play. I enjoy exploring all the various nooks and crannies of the place, and figuring it out. It seems there is much to deal with here. Once again, we are tempted with feeding someone to a maw. This is one of those things. I feel as though there are a number of different tacks one can take with this, and it's just one of those things that you gotta sort of figure out. There's a lot one can do here. So I don't know. There are different ways one can go here, and just in terms of, like, you know, how much of a bastard do you want to be? It's a very interesting question. I'm very curious to sort of dig into it and sort out what it is that we want to do. But in the meantime, what do we have going on here? Well, on Saturdays, when we're all available. Saturdays? Not Saturdays. Saturdays doesn't happen anymore. There's no Saturday on the calendar anymore. Not right now, anyway. Maybe there will be a Saturday on the calendar later. We shall see. On Sundays, Sunday afternoons, whenever we're all available, we have our game of Dark Matter. That's once again, that's the Mage Hand Press Dark Matter, not the Alternity Dark Matter, where we are playing beings immersed in fantasy and indeed science fiction simultaneously. It's fantasy tropes in space, and we are nearly at the end of the arc. That was the aforementioned brain dragon that was spoken of earlier. The aforementioned thing that was spoken of earlier. Can we be even more redundant? I can if I try. We know I can. But yes, we will be getting back to that hopefully this Sunday afternoon. Then on Tuesday nights, I run a game here of Urban Shadows set in present-day Rome, Italy. I have on Wednesdays been playing Cities Skylines. I did that yesterday because I had a bit of a do-si-do with my schedule. I got my first jab finally of the Pfizer vaccine, and so I will be needing another jab on May 5th. So the schedule will undoubtedly do-si-do a bit then as well, and probably that one I understand hits you pretty hard. So that second jab. So I may be out of commission for a little while, for a few days when that happens. But we'll jump off that cliff when we come to it. Let's see. What else? We do have a new campaign coming up near the end of the month. Scum and Villainy. We've got our cast together. I just have to finish putting all the things in place, and then perhaps announcements shall happen soon. But that's really most of it. And so basically, in another week we will do this again, and we will explore probably the old slave zone, and just sort of figure out what it's about, have a nice long chat with the Murdens. So let's see. When we go to the end card here, I'm going to go ahead and issue a raid on, let's see, Milady Saito. We haven't visited her for a while, so we'll go do that. Feel free to hang on and say hi to them with us. That again will be when we hit the end card. But in the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. I appreciate it. Take care, and I will see you all of a sudden.